for Math. And thank you to Superposition Fremont for giving me the incredible privilege of being able to talk about Melodies for Math and my whole the way I perceive math in general. It's such an honor to be here. So without further ado, here's my presentation on math, the bridge between STEM and arts. Oh, great. Okay, there we go. So a little bit about information about who am I. So my name is Swetha Tandri. I'm a high school senior. I'm 18 years old and I'm a high school senior based in Dallas, Texas. I'm extremely stressed due to college apps. And if you have any general questions about college apps, feel free to drop that in as well. And I can answer those in the Q&A. And I'm a freelance UI UX designer for web development. So basically I code websites for nonprofits and businesses and other organizations, but my primary focus is Melodies for Math. So yeah. So here's an introduction. So as we all know, math is all around us. We learn it from a very, very early age. And in my personal opinion, I felt like math just came really, really naturally to me. And as I grew older, I began to perceive math in a lot of different ways. I used to find solace in math because in the way that I solved it, there was only either one right answer or one wrong answer. But later, I recently found out that I just came to the realization that math is way more than just finding the correct answer. It is a lot more nuanced. And that's what I'm going to talk about. There's more of an analytical side and a creative side. And coincidentally, that's STEM and art. And math, I'm going to talk about how math is the bridge between these two. So obviously we're very familiar with the analytical side of math. It's very commonly paired with science. As you can see, I put the images of DNA and biology as well as physics. I remember when I was in AP Physics 1, I used to do a lot of calculus and math and come to one correct answer. So the analytical side is very, very well known. And obviously it is very prevalent in society. But what I'm primarily going to talk about is the other side, how I perceive math to be a language. So, I mean, obviously math can be paired with science, but I see it more as a language, a communicator, the language of the universe. So after having this thought, I decided to look up what the requirements of a language are, because there are millions of, I have no idea how many languages there are, but there's definitely a lot. And so what I found, according to ThoughtCo, is that languages have a distinct vocabulary with meaning to the symbols used. And there's also a proper syntax, and it should be used to communicate something. Math, I believe that math meets that criteria because it obviously has a distinct vocabulary. It has, there's algebra, geometry, calculus, and so much more. And each of them have their own rules, as well as you can bring meaning out of it. So math can explain itself, real life phenomena, and abstract concepts. And I'm going to dive into every single one of these. So one of the most common applications of math combined with art and the whole language sense is mathematics in nature. Because like whenever I think math, first and foremost in nature, I think about patterns. So from the concentric circles observed in the shell to all of the little individual things that we see, it sometimes makes me wonder if math was truly invented by people or if it was something that existed in the universe and we just discovered it. I mean, I'm still divided over what it is, but it's just so fascinating how with these patterns in nature, everything aligns so well. And it's so amazing that we were able to really harness it. So yeah. And here are some more examples of mathematics as a language in science. So Newton used calculus to explain motion and other elements of physics. And math and patterns were used to predict new elements on the periodic table. I know a lot of these can seem like analytical examples, and they are, but I guess I guess another way to perceive it is how math is used as a communicator, as an intermediary. Like you have these amazing things that you're noticing, like with in regards to for example Newton and the motion and the theories and and all the new information he found, he needed to find a way to explain it to everyone. And so that's how he used calculus to do that. And also with periodic tables, if we deconstruct them, there's a very clear way that they're organized, and that can also be used to communicate. And and then another point is the existence of statistics. So obviously you can run a test and have some data that you collect, but with statistics and the interpretation of statistics, you can take some raw data and transform it into a story. You can know more information about what's truly going on once you use these various statistical concepts and information that you find, because like most of statistics is basically interpretation. So here we're taking the calculus side to explain physics, and we're also taking the statistical portion of math to transform it into a story. So and in addition, here's just a fun example of how math can tie into English as well. So this is a Fibonacci poem that I found online. So I guess a little brief introduction to the Fibonacci sequence for those who may not be familiar is that it's a common math sequence in which the sum of one term in the sequence, wait, no, sorry, the value of a term in the sequence is the sum of the previous two values. So here you have, and in this poem, we have each line has a certain amount of syllables, and it corresponds with a particular term in the sequence. So my has one term, first has one syllable, poem has two because it adds the first two, was not a, so it adds these two, so on and so forth. So we can even create, we can use math as a language to create art in another language. That's just something really cool that I wanted to share. And I'm definitely going to go into this when I talk about the YouTube project, Melodies for Math. I'm going to go a lot into detail about poems and their structure and how they're innately created to how they're innately connected to mathematics. Next, math as a language, as a communicator, can also be used to open our minds and think about things that we usually would not be able to consider. And this is why I love paradoxes, because they just make us think about how this situation can exist that contradicts everything that we know. And there are quite a few mathematical paradoxes, but my favorite one is Gabriel's wedding cake, which is a calculus related paradox. So in this one, you have a fixed volume of the supposed cake, but you have an infinite surface area. Due to the sake of this presentation, I'm not going to go deep into the calculus, but using calculus and the process of integration, which is finding the area and volumes under curves, with this particular example, we are baffled at how something that has a set volume, but it stretches forever in terms of area. Like, it's really hard for me to imagine, because if you have a box, you know it has a fixed amount of volume, and it has a fixed surface area. But just imagine the surface area stretching all the way till infinity, but it having a fixed volume. Normally, we wouldn't think that it would happen in real life, but math also allows us to open our minds to the endless possibilities of things that could exist in the universe. Going off of that idea, see, this is why math is very, very important, because when you harness both sides of math, the fact that it can be analytical and you can have one answer, but the fact that it's also a medium of communication and allows us to challenge our minds and and convey our ideas to people. There are these various facets of what math really is. So that's why I think that it's incredibly important that we use math to the best of its ability to solve 21st century problems. Because although we may not think that math may have a solution to the problems we're facing, we will be surprised. So like all of this made me extremely fascinated about math. But I soon came across a problem. And I honestly believe that the education system may not be giving math the justice it deserves through just core curriculum, because it's hard for many people, including myself, to bridge the connection between math and other aspects of life. I remember when I was in Algebra 1 and I was learning the quadratic formula, and I was thinking, oh my God, why do I need to know this? There's so many different formulas, because back then I only saw math as something that was fixed and had only one answer. But when you look beyond that, there's so much more to it. And if through my personal experiences, many teachers and many students are more focused on the what, the answer, instead of the why, like how did we get here and what comes next. And the why, in a world that's gradually favoring critical thinking, the why is more important to be able to solve global problems, and to see math as the analytical tool and the art that it is as well. So how I decided to go about to do my part to solve this problem was through Melodies for Math, which was a YouTube channel that I founded in March of 2020, this year. So the mission statement of Melodies for Math is that we explain various high school mathematics through short, compelling, original songs in order to make math more relatable and engaging. Now, initially, to answer the question of why I chose to explain math through songs, um, yeah, wait, never mind. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But here is our YouTube channel. So as you can see, we upload various videos about algebra, calculus, trigonometry, and whatever users require, whatever users request. And we take this concept and we devise curriculum, and then we package it into little songs that we end up releasing to the public. So here is an overall view of our page, and I linked it at the very end of the presentation. So if you would like to see it, then I'm going to provide all of our socials. Now, how Melodies for Math started. So as I mentioned earlier, I started it in March of 2020, and I realized if I wanted to showcase the endless possibilities of math, that it could be conveyed as an art, as a language, as much as that of a science. I wanted to convey it through music, an example of an art that is structured mathematically. I'm going to go into the details in just a little bit, but I wanted to I wanted to explain math through a format that can be seen artistically and deconstructed into something that's more science-like, to prove that math can be thought of as the same way. And also in the songs, I and my team want the project to explain math in a simplistic manner with the necessary details, as well as examples of how they relate to real life in the future. And in in addition, I know from personal experience that if I can't connect something to my life, I wonder, why am I even doing this? And I start to feel resentment towards math. But our brains are naturally satisfied by mathematical patterns, which our songs have. And so with the music that we're doing, we hope to make more people satisfied when thinking about math, and more inclined to being able to tackle global problems or whatever their heart desires using mathematics. So here's an example of one of our songs that we wrote. This is the domain and range song, which is our most popular one, and I'm going to play the song. When you look at a function, you see x and you see y. This two-dimensional plane is where we draw the line. What goes in is x, and y comes out each time. For each function, it's time to define its x's and y's. Domain and range, domain and range. Domain is all the x values, and range is all the y's. Domain and range, domain and range. Only values that exist should be in its site. Okay, so that's a very small portion of the song. So that's the structure of one of our lyrics and the chorus. The full video is available under the Melodies for Math YouTube channel, as well as our other videos. But I'm going to deconstruct this song and its lyrics in future slides. So these is kind of an example of what our songs are like. We have a music, instruments, video editing, as well as the content. So now let's go into the mathematics of Melodies for Math. So there are three parts to a typical Melodies for Math product. we have our content, music, and video editing. And for the sake of this presentation, let's dive deep into the music of Melodies for Math and how it relates to math. Okay, so in our songwriting process, sometimes the lyrics come first and other times the words do. But the most important component is the melody for educational songs or otherwise, because that's the part that we want our users to remember. So going back all the way to the Fibonacci poem that I talked about before, we write, or at least I tend to write my lyrics in a poetry style with a sort of pattern to them. One way of measuring this pattern is through syllables, which in our Fibonacci poem, the syllables were structured in the order of the Fibonacci sequence. But here, in terms of music, it's important that we have patterns and symmetry. So here's an example from the chorus of the Domain and Range song. So this is a song that I and my friend Smriti wrote together, and she was the one who did the vocals. She sounds so amazing. So the first two lines are domain and range, and each has 4 syllables to them. So already here we have symmetry. And then the next line, domain is all the x values and range is all the y's. That's 14 syllables long. So already we're establishing a pattern of short, long. So this is one half of the chorus. The next half is domain and range, again, which is repetition from the first two lines. So it's domain and range. Only values that exist should be in its site. So this is 12 syllables, almost like 14. So we have short, long. So here's this pattern that we established. And I'm no expert in music, but I guess the symmetry is probably why many people thought this song to be catchy, because it has just enough symmetry to make a listener satisfied when listening to it, but then it also has variability, so slight variability in the syllable count to have the element of surprise exist. So yeah, this is the deconstruction of the domain and range song and how we use math in music to in our lyrics indirectly to explain math. I found that pretty cool. So then we also have mathematical patterns in the instrumental. And music theory provides a better picture to understanding the very specifics, but it again has to do with the ideas of pattern and symmetry. So I'm going to play the instrumental of a song I wrote about Heron's formula. So Heron's formula is basically if you have a triangle without any angles, but you're given all the sides, you can still find the area of the triangle. So I'm going to play it on MuseScore right here. I'm going to play the chorus of the song, the instrumental for it. Yeah, that's the chorus. So I think even when we try to deconstruct this instrumentally, here we can already see some kind of pattern within the rhythm. So here we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1 and 2, and then this section over here follows that same pattern, kind of like call and response, with even a same rhythm in the lower half of the piano. So I found that really amazing. And then the next we have 4 notes with the same uh like they each take the same the same amount of time, the same amount of beats. And then it's also true for the next one too. And then these last two resolve it till the end of the chorus. So I guess like even instrumentally, the patterns are important in order to make the song catchy and in order to have more satisfaction when listening to the math song. Heron's formula is actually available on the Melodies for Math Spotify combined with the lyrics, and I will tell you about our Spotify and all of our other socials towards the end. Okay, so I guess before I go on, mathematics is very prevalent in every single song that, in almost every single song. In fact, Max Martin, who is a very popular songwriter and producer, he coined a term called melodic math that he used to create hits that were on the Hot 100. And essentially, not much is known about the specifics, but it does involve having uh, syllabic patterns as well as very simple melodies. So that's what we're trying to implement a few things like that into our songs too. So now I'm going to talk about the impact of Melodies for Math, as well as possible career paths that you could take that involves perceiving math from all of its different angles. So here's our impact over 2020. I'm so grateful that I and the team got over 5,000 views with over 33,000 impressions, but more than the metrics, I feel happy every single time I have students approach us saying that our videos have helped them, because that's overall our goal of Melodies for Math, to use math with art to explain math in a very creative way that allows students to have a positive like feel more positivity towards math, as well as being able to see math as some sort of as a sort of language or communicator. We're very lucky to be used by several schools, and I know YouTube analytics can be very weird, but it actually claimed that we got videos from we got views from Desmos, the graphing website. To this day I wonder, how did we do that? I don't know, but I'm just really happy that this method of explaining math through this way has been very effective in helping students feel much better towards mathematics. So here are some career paths that relate STEM and art with math. I know that there's many more of these, but I wanted to provide a variety. And I may be a little bit biased because I have interest in going into computer science. But one way that you can integrate STEM through art is through UI UX design, or like user interaction and user experience. So a lot of this design involves a lot of aesthetic things, and it's important to know. I think geometry would be extremely helpful. Like if you want to create some more complicated designs for websites and apps. Um, an, Another possible career path could be data science, that kind of goes hand in hand with statistics, because data science can be used in any field. And and once again, the whole idea about stats is taking some data and numbers and making meaning out of it. So you can definitely do that with data science and statistics. Another example that uses math is marketing, because the whole idea of marketing is to decide how to improve the analytics and the reception of a company or a product. And to do that, you have to connect the analytics with the type of artistic elements that attract users. So math is definitely available everywhere within computer science, understanding the world around us, and marketing products as well. Math is just all around. And so that's why it's important that we redefine the way that we approach math and teach math. All right, so before I go back to questions, I wanted to let you guys know about our socials. So for our YouTube channel, it's just called Melodies for Math. You can follow us on Instagram at Melodies for Math, and the same thing for LinkedIn and Facebook. And although I didn't include it on the socials, we're also on Spotify, and that's just Melodies for Math. So I guess that wraps up my presentation. So if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to ask them.
All right, thank you for the great presentation. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot about like what inspired you to start Melodies for Math, and like what you feel about math and how it has impacted you and other students. Okay, so let's start with a couple of the questions from the chat. I've opened a chat, so you can now send them publicly, or you can just send it privately through me or Manasa. And the first question is, someone wanted to know about when they should start applying to college.
Oh, okay. When you should start applying to college. So I think if you're talking about starting the college app process, I would recommend start as early as possible with coming up with a college essay list, coming up with the college list, writing the college essays, organizing your information on whatever application platform you're using. I mean, I guess one good idea would be to start in the middle of junior year, to probably start thinking about who you'd want to ask for letters of recommendation, and in the summer to come up with a college list and start writing the essays. I started a little late, and I kind of regret that, because I'm applying to colleges through Apply Texas, the Common App, and the Coalition App, and the MIT app. So all of them are different applications that have different structures. So I guess it's important to start early as possible, so you know what you're working with and how to balance it with your course load.
Okay, and another question we got from the chat was, thank you for the advice. Definitely starting early sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, and another question we got was, what extracurriculars or classes can you take for math?
I'm actually not too familiar with that, because I only am familiar with math tutoring and Melodies for Math. But I guess there's Mu Alpha Theta, which is like a math honor society, and then I guess there could be there are various math competitions. I mean, I knew one off the top of my head, but I think it's AIME. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's also available. And I guess online has all sorts of opportunities out there for various math opportunities. And I would also recommend to start a passion project if you feel like there's one aspect of math that really relates to you, because math has very a lot of different angles that it can be perceived as, and I explained how I perceive it. But if there's many different areas that you like best, you could do that, because math is literally everywhere. There's data science, art, marketing. There's many different ways that that if you would like to apply math, you can feel free to just do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's like a lot of ways that math can be applied in various extracurriculars. So some people had questions about like what program you use for editing the videos, because like the editing for the videos was really nice.
Oh, thanks. I actually don't edit them. It's my team member, Heywan, and like who edits our videos, as well as Jenna and Ingrid. We have a bunch of video editors. They use um Adobe products to make their videos. I remember I talked to her and she said Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. But if you use a Mac, you can use Final Cut Pro. I think I'm gonna learn how to video edit on my Mac, so I'm gonna get a Final Cut Pro. So I guess those are a variety of different editing softwares.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I guess someone else had a question about what is your role in Melodies for Math. I guess that kind of ties in with the last question.
Oh, cool. I'm the founder of Melodies for Math. So I guess it all kind of started as an idea that I had when I was out of town, I guess in March. And then I was thinking, you know what? I really love math so much, and I love writing songs. And I kind of went over my inspiration in a previous slide. But I felt so strongly towards math, and I really want to convey math through an art that is mathematically structured. So initially, but before I expanded the team to include my close friends, I wrote the content, did the music, did the marketing, and did video editing. I'm obviously not that great at video editing, so I just made the visuals on Canva and I put them together through iMovie. You gotta love iMovie.
Yeah, it's really great that you're able to combine two of your passions together and start like an organization for it. See what are the other questions in the chat. So I guess someone wanted to know when you started applying for college.
Oh, I started applying, like I actually first submitted my first application in October. But I started working on my application since June. So right now I got into two of my safeties so far. So it's very reassuring knowing that you have a college that's going to take you in, like in case you don't get accepted to some of your other choices.
Definitely. It's great to hear that you got accepted to some safeties, and I'm sure you'll get accepted to a lot of other colleges as well. Let's see. And I guess, so how do you think that the math curriculum that's currently used in schools can be refined to be better?
I guess I feel like I want more integration of STEM and artistic elements as well as creativity, because at least in the school where I go to, I feel like I get very different vibes from those two things. So I think I want like I want in the math system to be for oh my god, I can't talk. What I want is just for more creativity in math, to show that in math, just there does not always necessarily have to be just one answer. There can also be a lot of discussion involving theory, and I want to get into the various applications of math. I just want the math curriculum. I just want people to feel like they can use math as a tool, that like no matter what you're doing, you can use math as a tool. So I guess it's just to combine math with art and creativity, and show that math truly is key to endless possibilities. I'm not too quite sure about about the specifics yet, but I am working on. I have a couple of project ideas, like making um, math themed video games, for example. Like, just to show that math does not necessarily have to be all formulaic, but you can spin it around to how you see fit for yourself.
Yeah, I really like the idea, like expanding math to include other stuff and not just keeping it like super formulaic and like super structured to the point where it's kind of boring. Definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
So how do you work with your teams to get a higher audience for your videos?
Okay, so I guess we kind of rebranded to primarily focusing on our YouTube account. So I know that like it's a lot harder to grow than an Instagram account. So I guess what we do is we obviously I reach out to various mathnasiums and test centers. I think there's over 1,000 mathnasiums in the United States alone, and we got a few areas to share our content on Facebook. I and a couple of my friends were posting the videos on our group chats to try to get more people interested in our content. And in addition, we utilized YouTube SEO, which includes tags. Yeah, which includes tags, replying to comments, and just whatever we can to boost engagement on YouTube, so that we get more organic views on YouTube without having to get them from outside sources. I think that's our ultimate goal, to be able to have a prominent standing as a YouTube channel without having to rely on an on I mean without primarily relying on engagement outside. So we want more organic engagement. And I think SEO is helping us because our videos are now showing up under YouTube searches. So more people are able to find our videos very easily.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have a pretty good reach so far. And I'm sure it will definitely like more as more people find it useful, they'll like more people will keep coming in and watching it. And
Yeah, I feel like I'm so proud of the team and all the growth we had for domain and range. It ended up getting over 1,200 views, and when we dropped it 3 months ago, and when we did not expect that, but we're so happy that we gained traction as fast as we did, and we hope to be able to help more people in the future, and possibly even collab with Khan Academy, because they're just amazing. But to do that, we have to become a little bit more prominent. But that I hope that'll happen. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be definitely really cool. Khan Academy is a really great resource and it'd be awesome to like collaborate with them. So do you know about any other websites or YouTube channels that like that you recommend for understanding mathematical concepts? Because I know that sometimes they're really, really complicated and YouTube videos can really help with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think for math, I primarily use the organic chemistry tutor. I mean, like he has a bunch of videos about physics, math, science, like all sorts of things. I really love his explanations. Yeah, and I guess that's primarily the main resource I use. I also use Khan Academy, and then also I guess yeah, those are my two main ones. Also, there's this other channel called Nancy Pie, and there's this MIT graduate who makes an informative videos explaining mathematics, and I love her videos. So yeah.
Thanks for all the recommendations. Those sound really cool. I agree. The organic chemistry tutor is a really great resource. And I guess someone had a question, which was, so how do you think having the lesson for in Melodies for Math in a song form helps people learn? Do you think it helps people learn better than like just a plain lecture?
Yeah, I really do. I briefly mentioned this in the presentation, but I guess other than me thinking that music is an art that has math, and I wanted to show that I want to show that math could also be more complex. I also realized that like with music, if you utilize the patterns correctly, it can invoke a sense of satisfaction in the brain. And so I also, because our brains have a natural tendency to seek out patterns and combinations in any way we can. So by structuring our lyrics in more of a pattern with syllables and having and doing the same thing with our lyrics, we're able to invoke that sense of satisfaction, which makes more people drawn to what they're listening to, and it increases the amount of times they're going to play. It increases the playback rate of the song, and so you'll keep playing it over and over, and then the lyrics will eventually be in your head whether you like it or not. Which definitely happened to me for a lot of for a lot of other songs on my playlist.
Yeah, I agree. Something that's definitely good about music is that like it just gets stuck in your head sometimes, which is useful when it's something that's informational like math. I guess someone wanted to know about some other career options. I know you talked about data science, UI, UX, and marketing, but what do you like? If you know any other career options you can go into with math?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, math kind of applies to everything. And no matter what career path you go, there's always going to be some sort of mathematical form. I guess let me think more in detail. I guess like since I know for sure that I'm going to go into a computer science field, that's the careers that I'm most familiar with. But I'm pretty sure that there's like, even within data science itself, there's some there's its own various strains of career options. There's um, machine learning and artificial intelligence. There's also a lot of um, research careers that involve using statistics whenever you end up publishing your paper. So I think with every single career option within STEM or even arts, we can find. I think even digital media and animation. There's also mathematical factors to that as well, and video game development. So I know I'm primarily listing out tech careers, but I guess that like that's all I'm mostly familiar with. And tech will also kind of be associated with almost everything pretty soon.
Yeah, I agree. Like the possibilities with math and tech are just completely limitless at this point. Yeah. Um, so I guess let's take a look. These questions. So if other students want to help contribute to Melodies or math, is there any way they can help?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the
Oh
question?
yeah, sure. So if other students want to help contribute to Melodies for math, is there a way they can help out or?
I'm sorry. I still didn't get that. So are you asking like how anyone can help us grow, or how anyone
Yeah.
can? Okay. So I think right now, as it is, we have our team pretty solidly established. So we're not taking any additional members at this time, but I guess it's we always want more outreach. So it'd be really cool if people could spread the word of our channel to their friends, their teachers, and their classmates, just anyone they know who could need math help. And so I guess we could definitely use a lot more outreach. So if anyone would like to help us with that, they definitely can.
Okay, so I guess our time is almost up. Oh wait, actually, oh no, it's not. Never mind. Sorry, my watch is just off. So someone wanted to ask, how would a pattern in the song equate to a pattern in the math itself? Yeah, I'm not super sure. Let me see. So yes, we understand the patterns in the song subconsciously, but you don't get an explanation about the math consciously. I'm actually not exactly sure what the question is asking.
Oh, okay. Uh, I would love to answer the question. So whoever asked it, if you could type it in again.
Hold on, let me see if I can just send it to you. Let me just copy paste it. Oh shoot, Zoom doesn't let me copy paste things.
Oh,
Okay, never mind. We can ask another question for now. Okay, oh, never mind. So they clarified, so they don't really understand how being satisfied by the math equates to an understanding in the math.
wait, okay. So I think like being satisfied by the math, I mean like that just makes you like more I guess that like the satisfaction makes you more inclined to want to replay it. So I guess like I said before, like the satisfaction prompts replay. And then as I mentioned before, like if you keep replaying it, like the lyrics will be in your head, like whether you want it to or not. And I guess like yeah, and I guess I personally learn better through anything explained through music. So I think I may be going off on a slight tangent, but I guess there's a type of learner called the auditory learner, and they tend to learn better through music because I guess some people's minds they tend to connect things better that way. And then also it's I remember when I was taking a practice SAT test, I wasn't sure what to do for a certain thing related to probability. But then I guess once you have a tune to associate with a song and the way that the lyrics are structured, it's much easier to remember it. Because I think that if we have like lyrics, they may be a lot easier to remember set to a tune than to just state the formula as is. I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Like when I was in math class, we had this song for the quadratic equation. It definitely helped me with memorizing the quadratic equation. So I think that's our time for now. So yeah, thank you for coming. Super inspiring talk. And yeah.
I guess. Oh, I forgot to put my personal Instagram. But if anyone would like to contact me and possibly send me more questions, I could put my email in the Zoom chat if that's okay.
Oh yeah, sure. And we are now going to have a 5-minute break. So
All right.
yeah.
Okay. So if anyone would like to contact me, here's my email, which I'm gonna put in the Zoom, and here's my Instagram. Whichever one you prefer. So I just dropped it in.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess feel free to stay or leave. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Okay. Yeah, cool. We're on break. And I guess we'll start again at 4:50, I guess.
Hey everyone, make sure to stay for our next guest speaker that we're gonna begin with at 4:50. Yeah, we have some really good information that you can learn from our next guest speaker, so make sure to join.